The letter arrives in February or March, buried in the usual clutter, and it tells you politely that your broadband is going up by £3 or £4 a month from April. You sigh, you think about switching, you remember you're tied into a contract, and you decide it isn't worth the hassle of days without internet and an hour on hold, so you do nothing, and that is the single most profitable assumption the broadband industry makes about you. Because that letter is not just a price rise. For a great many households, it is a door being held open, and the smart ones are walking straight through it, mid-contract, without paying a penny to leave. Here is what most people never realise. Under Ofcom's rules, there are several situations where you can walk away from a live in-contract broadband deal with no exit fee at all, and the providers are legally required to tell you when one applies, in the very same breath as the bad news, in a sentence engineered to be forgettable. On top of that, nearly 9 million UK broadband customers are out of contract right now, free to leave this instant, collectively overpaying by around £1 billion a year, and when your deal ends, the price doesn't hold. It typically jumps by around 28% automatically for the crime of staying loyal. And here is the part the smart households understand that everyone else misses. Leaving is no longer the ordeal it used to be. Since a change in the rules, you often never have to speak to your old provider at all. You arrange everything with the new one, and the switch happens without a gap in service. Nobody makes this easy to see, not the price rise letter, not the retentions team, not the app that shows you everything except the one date that would set you free. Quickly, because it matters. I'm not a solicitor and nothing here is legal advice. These are educational examples based on Ofcom's published rules as they currently stand, and the detail depends on your provider and exactly when you signed. Check Ofcom's own guidance or take proper advice before you act on any of it. My name is Jack, and this channel is for one group of people, the ones who did everything right, who signed up honestly, paid every bill on the day it was due, never haggled, never played the system, and assumed that being a good, loyal customer would be quietly rewarded. It is the opposite. In this market, loyalty is the thing that gets charged for, and the best price is always kept for the stranger who just walked in. I am here to hand you the version the loyal never get told. Subscribe, because next week I am doing the exact same thing for your mobile. The identical mid-contract trick the networks pull, and the SIM-only switch that cuts a lot of people's monthly bill clean in half. If you're still paying for a phone you finished paying off years ago, that one is for you. Before we start, one word in the comments. Are you in contract, out of contract, or honestly not sure? Just the one word, and not sure is a completely valid answer, and an honest one because most people genuinely have no idea which they are. I read every comment on this channel. Now let me make this real. Meet Karen and Paul. They're both 57, they live in a semi in Leeds, and they have been with the same big-name broadband provider for 12 years without once switching. They pay £48 a month for a connection that visibly crawls in the evenings when the whole street is streaming at once. Every spring the price nudges up, and every spring they mean to do something about it and never do. They are model customers, reliable, loyal, no trouble at all, and that is precisely why they have been quietly overpaying for years. Paul has genuinely believed this whole time that a company he'd been faithful to for over a decade would look after him a little for it. Karen assumed that switching meant a week of chaos and a day off work waiting for an engineer. Both beliefs are wrong, and both have cost them money every month. They are not unusual, they are the most ordinary household in Britain. Let me show you every door they've walked past. Number 1, the price rise letter that is secretly your exit ticket. Here is how it works. Since the 17th of January 2025, Ofcom banned providers from burying inflation-linked price rises in new contracts. Any rise now has to be stated up front in actual pounds and pence before you sign, typically £3 to £4 a month applied each spring. But here is the crucial part for anyone on an older contract, or anyone hit with a rise that wasn't clearly spelled out when they joined. If a provider raises your price in a way you did not clearly agree to at the start, Ofcom's rules give you 30 days from being notified to leave penalty-free, and the provider is legally required to tell you about that right in the notification itself. Read that again. The letter announcing the increase must also tell you how to escape it. They just word it so it slides straight past you. Karen and Paul signed years ago on an old inflation-linked deal they never understood. Every one of those rises may well have handed them a 30-day window to walk, and every year that window opened and closed without them noticing. That is the quiet genius of it. The exit right is real, and the provider genuinely does disclose it. Buried in a paragraph near the bottom, in the flat language of compliance, positioned so that a busy person reads, "Your price is changing," and stops there. The law was satisfied. You were technically told, and nothing happened, which is exactly the outcome the wording was designed to produce. Number 2, any change for the worse hands you the same right. Here is how it works, and almost nobody knows this one. The penalty-free exit isn't only about price. Under Ofcom's general conditions, if your provider makes any change to your contract that is to your detriment, not just a price rise, but a cut to your service, a change to your terms, a downgrade to what you were promised, you generally have the right to exit penalty-free, and again they must notify you and give you a window to act. Providers make small detrimental changes more often than you'd think, tucked into terms and conditions updates that nobody reads. Each one can be a door. The trick the smart household has learned is simply this: never been a message from your provider about changes to your service without asking one question. Does this let me leave? It costs nothing to ask it, and the answer is occasionally worth hundreds of pounds. A provider counting on your inattention has no defense against a customer who simply reads to the end. Did you know that the letter telling you your bill is going up can, in law, be the very thing that lets you leave for nothing? Type yes or no. Most people treat that letter as a defeat, when for millions it is actually a key. Number 3, the speed guarantee escape hatch. Here is how it works. Most of the big providers, BT, Sky, Virgin Media, EE, TalkTalk and others, have signed up to Ofcom's voluntary broadband speeds codes of practice. Under that code, they must give you a minimum guaranteed speed when you sign up, printed on your keyfax or order confirmation. If your actual speed drops below that guaranteed minimum, you report it, and they cannot fix it within 30 days. You have the right to leave penalty-free. And it goes further than just the broadband. If you bought a TV or a landline package at the same time, bundled together, you can usually walk away from those too, because they'd be stranded without the connection. Karen and Paul's evening speeds almost certainly fall below the minimum they were guaranteed 12 years and 3 routers ago. That is not a complaint to be fobbed off with an apology. Under the code, unfixed within a month, it is a door marked exit. And the reason this one is so powerful is that speed problems are common and providers know it. Your line was tested and estimated years ago. The neighbourhood has since filled up with more homes pulling on the same infrastructure at the same peak hours. The copper in older setups degrades. The gap between what you were guaranteed and what you actually get at 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening is exactly where this right lives. Most people log the frustration and move on. The code says that frustration, properly evidenced, is worth your freedom. Number 4, out of contract means free to walk, and you're being charged for it. Here is how it works. The moment your minimum term ends, your early exit fees vanish. You can leave any day you like for nothing. And yet around 9 million UK broadband households sit out of contract, paying a loyalty penalty that Ofcom estimates adds up to roughly £1 billion a year across the country. When your initial deal ends, the price doesn't stay put. It typically leaps by about 28%. This is why providers are now legally required to send you an end-of-contract notification between 10 and 40 days before your deal expires, telling you what you're paying and what their best deals are in writing. Read it. Because the day that contract ends is the day you become free, and it is also the day you start being quietly punished for not noticing. Karen and Paul have been out of contract for years, paying that penalty every single month. And notice how neatly the loyalty penalty is disguised. It never shows up as a line called loyalty penalty. It shows up as the absence of a discount, the new customer price you can see advertised in the window that you're simply never offered because you already said yes years ago. The penalty is the gap between what you pay and what the person signing up today pays for the very same connection into the very same house. We are 4 doors in, and look at what one loyal couple has walked past. A penalty-free exit window handed to them by nearly every price rise. A second exit, right sitting behind every detrimental change to their terms. A speed guarantee they've been breaching for years. And an out-of-contract status that means they could leave tomorrow for free, while overpaying month after month for the privilege of staying. And the 2 things that make all of it effortless are still to come. Number 5. One-touch switch, the change that killed the hassle. Here is how it works, and this is the bit that has genuinely changed the game. It used to be that leaving meant calling your provider, sitting through a retention script designed to wear you down and risking days with no internet in the gap. Since September 2024, that is over for most of the country. Under one touch switch, you contact only your new provider. They handle everything. They tell your old provider you're leaving, they line up the changeover, and they are required to minimize any loss of service so you're not left disconnected. No awkward phone call, no begging to be released. In its first year, over 1.6 million households used it. Think about what that machinery was built to solve. The old process wasn't slow by accident. The retentions call, the transfer that could leave you offline for days, the two companies blaming each other while you sat unconnected. All of that friction worked in the industry's favour, because friction keeps you where you are. One touch switch was designed specifically to strip it out. One point of contact, a coordinated changeover, and a duty to keep you connected through it. The single biggest reason people give for never switching, that it's a nightmare, has quietly been dismantled, and most people have no idea it happened. Number 6. The compensation they owe you automatically while you decide. Here is how it works. Most major providers are signed up to Ofcom's automatic compensation scheme, which pays you as a credit on your bill without you even asking, when they let you down. From the 1st of April 2026, the rates are £10.34 for every day. You're left with a total loss of service that isn't fixed within 2 working days, £32.31 for a missed engineer appointment, and £6.46 for every day a new service starts late. In 2024 alone, that scheme paid out over £63 million. So if your switch involves an engineer who doesn't show, or your current service has been down and unfixed, that is money owed to you on top of everything else. And if it doesn't appear as a credit within 30 days, you claim it in writing. It is worth understanding why this matters even while you're on your way out the door. A provider that has recently left you without service isn't just giving you grounds to leave, it may already owe you cash for the failure. The two things run in parallel. The fault that frustrates you enough to switch can itself be generating a daily payment in your favour the whole time it stays unfixed. Now let me show you the part that changes everything. The single mental shift that separates the households who overpay for a decade from the ones who don't. It is not that the smart ones are cleverer, or have more time, or enjoy haggling. It is that they have stopped treating messages from their provider as noise to be ignored and started treating every single one as a trigger. The price rise letter is a trigger. It may be an exit window, and even if it isn't, it's a prompt to check whether you're free. The end of contract notification is a trigger, the day you become free. The terms update email is a trigger, it might be a door. And the moment any of those triggers fires, one touch switch means acting on it takes minutes, not days. Stack it together and the whole thing compounds. You use an exit right to leave a deal that was creeping upward, you switch in minutes with no gap in service, and you land on a new customer introductory price, often for faster full fibre, that undercuts what your loyalty was costing you. The exits were built for you, one after another, over years of regulation. Walking through them is the only part nobody can do on your behalf. Now, to be fair, because the honest version is the one that actually works, not every price rise gives you a free exit. If the increase was clearly set out in pounds and pence when you signed, as it must be on contracts taken out since January 2025, then you generally agreed to it, and leaving mid-term will trigger exit fees. The penalty-free window applies when the rise was not clearly disclosed, or goes beyond what you agreed. The speed code is voluntary, so it only bites if your provider signed up. Most big ones have, but check yours. The automatic compensation scheme is voluntary too. It covers the vast majority of customers, but not every provider, and some smaller full fibre networks aren't in it. If you're still paying off bundled equipment, you may need to settle that to leave cleanly, and switching usually starts a fresh minimum term, so read the new deal as carefully as you're now reading the old one. None of that changes the headline. Within these rules, leaving is a right, not a favour, and staying is a choice you're paying for. So let me add it up for one household. Karen and Paul, 12 years loyal, £48 a month. An equivalent new customer fibre deal in their area runs closer to £28, faster than what they have now, which is £20 a month, or £240 a year. They've been handing over for nothing. They are out of contract, so there is no exit fee to leave. Their evening speeds give them a code of practice exit even if they weren't. If the old provider fumbles the changeover with a missed appointment, that's another £32.31 owed automatically. One notification, acted on instead of binned. One switch, done in minutes with no gap. £240 a year saved on faster broadband for a household that assumed switching wasn't worth the bother. Over the 12 years they stayed put, the cumulative overpayment runs well into four figures, a genuine holiday's worth of money, handed over in £3 and £4 monthly increments too small to ever quite provoke action. Now multiply that by 9 million households doing exactly the same thing. Here is the quiet truth underneath all of it. The system isn't broken, it runs exactly as designed, and the design is inertia. Every default is set so that doing nothing costs you. The automatic rollover when your term ends, the annual creep, the loyalty penalty that grows the longer you stay, the deep, out-of-date assumption baked into everything that leaving is simply too much effort to bother with. The regulator has spent years building exits into this market. The penalty-free windows, the speed code, the end-of-contract alerts, one-touch switch, and every one of them works, but not one of them fires on its own. No provider has a single employee anywhere in the building whose job is to make sure you're on their cheapest deal. That job has always been yours, and it always will be. The smart household didn't get a better deal because someone offered it. They got it because they finally opened the letter. So here is what to do this week, and all of it is free. 1. Find out your contract status. Check your account or app, or the last end of contract notification, and if you can't tell, ask your provider, because they must tell you. 2. Dig out your last price rise letter and check whether the rise was clearly stated in pounds and pence when you first signed. If it wasn't, you may have had a penalty-free exit, and from now on treat every such letter as a 30-day decision. 3. Run a speed test over a couple of weeks and compare it to the minimum guaranteed speed on your key facts sheet. Below it and unfixed in 30 days is a free exit. 4. If you're out of contract, you owe nothing to leave, so either haggle hard with retentions or switch. 5. When you switch, just sign up with a new provider and let One Touch Switch do the rest. 6. Check your recent bills for any automatic compensation you're owed and never received, and if you're on universal credit or pension credit, ask about social tariffs from around £10 a month, which come with no mid-contract rises and no exit fees at all. I've put every link and a step-by-step switching checklist in the description. And one last thing that doesn't sit on a spreadsheet. The people who overpay for years aren't foolish. They're busy and they're loyal, and they carry a memory of switching being genuinely awful. The lost days, the finger-pointing between two companies, the dread of it. That memory is now out of date, and the industry's in no hurry to update it for you, because your out-of-date dread is worth about £1 billion a year to it. Karen and Paul weren't careless. They were faithful to a company that reserved its best price for everyone except them. The smart move was never about being clever. It was about noticing once that loyalty was the only thing in that contract with no reward attached. So, which of the 6 surprised you most? Drop the number below. 1 for the price rise exit, 2 for detrimental changes, 3 for the speed guarantee, 4 for out-of-contract freedom, 5 for one-touch switch, 6 for automatic compensation. Whichever number gets the most comments becomes the focus of next week's deep dive. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and then send this to one person you know who's been with the same broadband provider for years and just keeps paying whatever the letter says. They're almost certainly free to leave, very probably owed a cheaper deal, and have simply never once been told the doors were standing open.